My dear Theo, it is with some reluctance that I write to you, not having done for so long, and that for many a reason. Up to a certain point, you've become a stranger to me, and I too am one to you. Perhaps more than you think. Perhaps it would be better for us not to go on this way. It's possible I wouldn't even have written to you now if it weren't that I were under the obligation, the necessity of writing to you. If, I say, you yourself hadn't imposed that necessity. I learned at Eton that you sent 50 francs for me, and well, I accepted them, certainly with a rather reluctantly, and certainly with a rather melancholy feeling. But I'm in some sort of impasse or mess. What else can one do? So it's to thank you that I'm writing to you. As you may perhaps know, I'm back in the borderlands. Father spoke to me of staying in the vicinity of Eton instead, but I said no, and I believe I acted thus for the best. It seems that I have more or less become some sort of impossible and suspect character in the family. In any event, somebody who isn't trusted. So how then am I to be useful to anybody in any way? That's why, for one thing, so I'm inclined to believe, it is beneficial and the best and the most reasonable position to take for me to go away, to remain at a proper distance, as if I didn't exist. What molting is to birds, that time when they change their feathers, that's adversity or misfortune, hard times for us human beings. One may remain in this period of molting. One may also come out of it renewed, but it isn't to be done in public, however. It's scarcely entertaining, and it's not cheerful. So one must make oneself scarce. Well, so be it. Now, I must bore you with certain abstract things. However, I would like for you to listen to them patiently. I, for one, am a man of passions, capable of and liable to do some rather foolish things, for which I sometimes feel rather sorry. To name one passion among others, I have an almost irresistible passion for books. When I was in other surroundings, the surroundings of paintings and works of art, you well know, I took a violent passion for those surroundings that went even as far as enthusiasm, which I do not repent. But now, being far from that country again, I sometimes get homesick for the country of paintings. And so I study the books I had to hand rather seriously, such as the Bible and Michelet's La Révolution Française. Oh, and last winter, Shakespeare. Oh, and a little Victor Hugo, and Beecher Stowe, and Dickens, and recently Aeschylus, and several other less classic authors, several good minor masters. Now, the man who is absorbed in all that is sometimes shocking to others, and without wishing to, offends to a greater or lesser degree against certain forms and customs and social conventions. It is a pity, though, when people take that in the bad part. For example, you well know that I have frequently neglected my appearance. I admit it, and I admit it's shocking. But, you know, that money troubles and poverty have something to do with it. And then also a profound discouragement also has something to do with it. But then it's also a good means of ensuring for oneself the solitude needed to go somewhat more deeply into this or that field of study with which one is preoccupied. And now, for as much as 5 years, I don't know exactly, I have been more or less without a position. I'm wandering hither and thither. Now you say, from such and such time, you've been going downhill. You've faded away. You've done nothing. Is that entirely true? It's true. I've sometimes earned my crust of bread, and sometimes some friend has given it me as a favor. I've lived my life best I could, better or worse as things went. It's true, I've lost several people's trust. It's true. My financial affairs are in a sorry state. It's true. The future is not a little dark. It's true. I could have done better. It's true. Just in terms of earning my living, I have lost time. It's true that even my studies are in a sorry and disheartening state, and I lack more, infinitely more than I have. But is that called going downhill? Is that called doing nothing? Perhaps you'll say, why didn't you continue on as others would have wished you to continue on along the university road? To that I'd only say, it's too expensive. And even then, that future is no better than the present one on the road I'm on. But on the road I'm on, if I do nothing, if I don't study, then I am lost. Then woe betide me. I would be very happy if you could somehow see in me something other than an idler. Because there are idlers, and then there are idlers who form a contrast. There's the one who's an idler through laziness and weakness of character, through the baseness of his nature. But then there's the other kind of idler. The idler truly despite himself, who is gnawed inwardly with a great desire for action, who does nothing because it's absolutely impossible to do anything since he's imprisoned in something, so to speak. He feels by instinct, I'm good for something. Even so, I feel I have a raison d'etre. I know I could be a quite different man. Now that's an entirely different kind of idol. If you saw fit, you could take me for such a one. For today, I shake your hand and thank you for the kindness you have shown me. Now, if you'd like to write to me one of these days, my address is care of Cedar Rock, Rue du Pavillon 8, Kleinsmith, and know that by writing, you do me good. Yours truly, Vincent.